Good evening. Welcome to the City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting for Monday, March 17th, 2025. City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Hedrick, Deputy Mayor Depot, Councilor Piazza, Councilor Sheffield, and Councilor Patterson.
Okay, thank you. Please stand and salute the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, recognitions, awards, memorials. Council. Okay, moving on. Receipt of citizen petitions. Receipt of citizens petition is a portion of the council meeting where the council welcomes comments from citizens. To address the council, please sign the sheet on the table in front of the meeting room. When you're recognized, please approach the podium. Clearly state your name and address. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or less, and citizens should, if possible, submit emailed or written comments. Presentations should be related to matters pertinent to the City of Groton. City councilors will only ask questions in order to clarify the speaker's presentation and can respond during responses to citizens' petition portion of the meeting. City Clerk, do we have anyone signed up?
We do. First is Bonnie Giesler.
Okay, Bonnie, if you'll go to the podium. Is the microphone on?
It is.
Okay. Please state your name and address, and then you have 5 minutes.
I'm Bonnie Gieser. I live at 25 Fort Street. I'm inquiring about the resident parking. It's the list came out and Fort Street wasn't on it. So 2 streets over from me are on it, on both sides of me, and the top on the hill. And I would just like to know why. Several years ago, the blight officer and I filled out a form for resident parking in my dining room and went through it, and we were offered 3-hour parking. At that time, I couldn't get out of my driveway. I had to have all my neighbors park on the street so I could have my driveway finished. Now, I did not know any of this was going on. I just feel like I'm in the middle of all of this, and where are those cars going to go? And 3-hour parking for some people means nothing. And I know, and I don't want to say anything derogatory, I do not have police presence on 4th Street. We all have cameras. We all have looked at them. It's not true. They're not going up and down our street. So if there were people parked there, and they always park at the end of my driveway where there's a telephone pole, everyone that comes into my house has a hard time getting out. So I feel like the resident parking would help relieve that for me a little bit. And it seems ridiculous to have 5 streets and the one in the middle of everybody not have that. So I'm asking you to put Fort Street on your resident-only parking. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, are there any clarifying questions only at this time? Deputy Mayor Depot.
Just to clarify, you have an issue with people from EB parking on Fort Street.
Sometimes. It's not only EB. I mean, I don't know. They park in Biles parking lot. They park all over. I don't know who the people are. I could be going any place. It is not the mosque people, if that's what people are thinking. There are 3 gentlemen that live in the apartment above the mosque, and they should be entitled to resident parking also. They pay rent there. The mosque has the Biles parking lot, and they have 8 to 10 spaces on Beckwith Place to park. So where there is a lot of cars on Friday, I will grant you that, but they are residents while they're there at prayer. That's the way I look at it. So I think that you have visitors pass. I mean, there's some way we can fix this. I've gone out in the road and seen how we can do it. People come and go fishing in the park and everything and park on that street. You never know what you're going to see out there.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Second, we have Brian Neiman.
Brian Neiman, 76 Allen Street. Since the parking is on the agenda tonight, part of the process with that, if this passes, will be changing signs for the parking in various locations. I'm here tonight about a sign issue, not necessarily related to parking, but in that area. That at the side streets that feed into Mitchell Street, specifically Hamilton, Dennison, Ledyard, Allen, Baker, Park, and Minor, as well as Forest Street onto Benham. There has been forever signs at the corner prohibiting left-hand turns between the hours of 3 and 5. Now, having grown up in that area, I know they served a purpose in their time, but those hours were established back when the first shift got out at 4 o'clock at EB. And it has been well over 30 years since that's been the shift change hours. Predominantly now, most of the workforce gets out between 2 and then again at 2:30. So as it stands now, these signs are basically irrelevant and just contributing to the sign pollution that people don't see anymore. So if they're going to remain, I would request that the hours be changed to make them relevant to the actual traffic patterns. I don't believe that Pfizer traffic is really impacted in this, that they wouldn't be going on the side roads, and most of the traffic coming out of there would either be going down Brandegee or down Benham to Rainville and 349, or out Shenectah to Thomas Road. So Pfizer really is an issue, but it's time for an update as far as for the EB hours. Thank you.
Thank you.
List of the particular streets and intersections.
Deputy Mayor Depot, do you have a question? Clarifying question?
No, he answered my clarifying question, actually.
Councilor Piazza, do you have a clarifying question?
Yes, you had mentioned that,
Ryan,
first
can
you had
come
said
back?
that the time was from 3 to 5, and I've seen those signs. But you're saying that about EB getting out, and I'm aware of that because I live on Smith Street. I just wanted to know, you were saying that people don't see them at all. So are you saying that we shouldn't have the signs at all, or just update them according to the times of
Well,
EB?
they would be needed, but because of the irrelevant time on there are so many signs in the city that a lot of people just don't see them anymore. But I think I can understand having them, particularly for liability purposes, but if you're going to have them, at least have a relevant time frame on them. Say from 2 to 4 or 1:30 to 3:30, when the actual shift is getting out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Is there anyone else signed up for citizens petitions?
No, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. All right, now respond to citizens petitions, comments. Deputy Mayor Depot?
Thank you, Mayor. So I did get an email from Ms. Giesler and inquire with the police chief about Fort Street in particular, and he said it was outside the half-mile arc. But I do think our philosophy with this is that every street will continue to be looked at. Obviously, if we're going to change the parking regulations on these streets on this list, it's going to change how people park in the rest of the city anyways. And I think it's worth looking at, but I think we should still move forward with the resolution as we have tonight so as not to delay the action on the streets that are on the list, and then add Fort Street to the chief's list to look at.
Just to clarify something you said, you were unaware that we were doing this. So there were streets that were already on the resident parking only list. And then my direction was to basically put a pin in Building 88, which is the main building at Electric Boat, and then draw a half-mile arc, because based on information from the planners, most people will not walk more than a half a mile in order to get to where they're at. I think your issue is a separate and distinct issue. But we do have a process that we can use in order to evaluate it. And then if we find that that street should be added, it is a resolution, it's easy to change. I can get that done in one one committee of the whole, and then one mayor and council rotation. So,
Can I-
Deputy Mayor.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to comment one thing. You mentioned that you have cameras, and I know that we've had other residents who have sent their camera footage to the police department to show like what the problem is. I know we've had some with like cars going through stop signs, and people have sent their footage to the police chief to show where that, like which the intersection is and how often that's happening. So if you had like footage of someone parking there for more than 3 hours or whatever, or, you know, that kind of information, it's obviously optional, but you could provide that to the police department, and they could add that to their, you know, when they're looking at it.
Yes, you still have a little bit of time.
I'm 78 years old. I have a blood disorder. I don't have time for all this nonsense, okay? There's Baker and Allen comes Fort. Baker and Allen resident only. Fort doesn't. Latham and Pleasant, okay? It doesn't even make sense. And I don't understand that half mile. If I'm in the middle of all those streets and Slocum Terrace at the top, I posted on Facebook and I asked people what they thought. They thought you made a typo. Okay? It makes absolutely no sense for that street not to have resident only if the other streets have it. I mean, it doesn't. And it's not fair to the taxpayers on Fort Street that we have to continue to go through this. I put an application in before. I was given 3 hours because they didn't want to do it. Now that application should still be somewhere on file. I don't know why you can't amend that.
We have a new process, and if you go into the website,
I believe that's the process that Glenn and I did. I'm not sure. How old is it?
I can get Glenn to reach out to you
Okay, because he would have it.
about the current process that we have.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, I really feel that I'm being unfairly targeted. I do.
You as an individual homeowner?
No. I have talked to all the people on Ford Street. I talked to Mr. Biles if he had a problem, because he's on Thames Street. That's an exit for him. The Imam told me that he was told he could have a parking lot in front of the mosque, which he has been denied. So he has no problem with it either. So nobody has any problem on Ford Street. We all want to coexist there. There's a lot of traffic going in and out of there. I don't know if they're mosque people, but if they have something in their car, the police will know that they're a resident of them. The four gentlemen have cars in front of the old parsonage there.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Any other responses, citizens petitions, Deputy Mayor Depot?
Sorry, I also wanted to respond to Mr. Neiman's request. I actually have thought the same thing coming up that street, because if you come up at 4 o'clock, there's no traffic, or 4:30, you know what I mean? There's not this kind of traffic that there used to be, turning left, say off Baker or Allen. And so I do think that we should look into shifting that time up, because I do think that makes more sense. Which I believe we could just put the traffic trailer there, or they probably already have data on when the traffic is in front of those streets, because I know that we've been collecting traffic data for lots of reasons. So I'm betting the police department has a good idea of when
So
that
the note that I took regarding this is, evaluate the signs and decide if we're gonna update them with the correct time or if we're gonna remove them. So, yeah, we can certainly look at that.
I do personally think that the signs are a good reminder because I do think people forget sometimes how dangerous that left-hand turn is. I often will try not to take that route because the left-hand turn can be so dangerous if someone speeds up Mitchell. So I do like, maybe we don't need them on every single street, but I do think some of those turns are pretty dangerous, and it's a good reminder when you pull up to that stop sign not to turn left
Sure.
during those hours. So, but I definitely think it bears looking into, so thank you for bringing it up.
Okay? Counselor Piazza?
I just wanted to make the comment in reference to Fort Street's. The comment is I think her comment about Fort Street is valid and should be included, that's one. But the other thing too is for busing. We've had bus drivers that are unable to access there due to, there's construction on a house there, and so she said there's like cars parked all over the place and she can't get her bus in. So that's been happening for the last week where they've had to call the Board of Ed calls the school, they call the parents and are asking their parents to bring them down to a stop. So it's causing an issue there. So I don't know who's parking there. I know construction happens, but I'm thinking like, geez, you have construction, so these other people are gonna park wherever they're parking, and then they're gonna park other places, and then that just kind of escalates the issue that they're having. You know, I'm not sure if the construction company talked to the people, I don't know, but it has affected like buses going up in there too. They can't get in there.
Okay? Counselor Sheffield?
Since I live on one of those streets on Denison, and of course I've seen the sign for right turn only from between 3 and 5 o'clock. I've seen it since I moved into Denison. That was in '98, and there wasn't much enforcement then, and I'm not sure if changing the signage is going to impact as far as enforcement goes. If we're going to try to enforce parking at some point, I'm not sure how we're going to enforce right or left-hand turns in the city as well. I think, I know, like I said, that packet that we all received regarding the digital thing to see violators of parking rules and, you know, technology, hopefully something like that will assist, especially those who are on third shift now that park on the streets overnight, you know, basically. And, you know, and they shouldn't be there, but they're there anyway. So, and we don't have, you know, police departments going around to check after 9, 10 o'clock at night. So, I think upgrading the technology piece as far as flagging folks that are on these streets would be the better option if we really want to, you know, legislate violators of the parking rules. So, but again, back to the point of the left-hand turns. I'm not sure how that's going to be. You know, like I said, we have different times where they come out of work now. And like I said, I've always taken that left-hand turn. I get out of lunch at 2 o'clock, just as they're getting out of work. And I sort of beat that traffic as I'm coming home before they all hit the road. So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it, obviously you'd have to change the time frame, but I don't see the enforcement piece really being enforced at this time anyway. So, thank you.
Okay? All right. Moving on to approval of minutes. I'll take a motion to approve the mayor and council meeting minutes of March 3rd, 2025.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Counselor Patterson?
Muted.
Counselor Patterson, how do you vote?
he's on.
Counselor Patterson, how do you vote for
I don't
the,
know if the video is working or not, but I haven't been able to hear anything for the past 10 minutes.
can you hear me now?
I don't know if you guys can hear me or not.
Counselor Patterson, can you hear me? Hold on, looks like our audio may be off. Okay. Counselor Patterson, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, so we are voting on the mayor and council meeting minutes of March 3rd, 2025. How do you vote? So we're all in favor, say aye. Are you, okay, all right, thank you. I'll take a motion to approve the committee of the whole meeting minutes for March 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to these minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Take a motion to approve the special mayor and council meeting minutes of March 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any corrections to these minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Counselor Patterson, did you vote?
Yep, I said aye.
Okay, I did not hear it. My apologies. All right, communications and reports. Counselor Piazza.
I just went to the review of the budget with Public Works, and I just want to thank everybody that came, especially Bill, the director, Settlemeyer, presenting. I want to say that Deputy Mayor Depot did a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I think she really did. And that there was a lot of good points brought out and a lot of good questions, so thank you.
Counselor Sheffield.
I failed to mention in the recognition to recognize the Fitz Falcons run for the state championship for boys basketball. They went to the finals. Sadly, they lost, and I heard it was a good game. And congratulations! It was the first time Fitch had gone to the state finals in boys basketball. So that's a great feat, and congratulations to the coach and the players, and for having a successful season. And secondly, I spoke with our former counselor, Rashad Carter, regarding the Sail Fest cancellation by the City of New London. And he wanted to reach out to us to see if what the City of Groton could do as far as having something over here during Sail Fest. I reached out to Barbara Neff, who does all the projects and vending in New London, City of New London, and she said, to reach out to her if we're interested in doing something over here for that week. And it'd be great if it was something we can do. But I know it's costly, so not sure what the financial impact as far as doing something like this over here, but be a great thing if something small scale could be done here. So during that week. So, and that's all. Thank you.
So the fireworks are still happening. So Sailfest may be scaled down or maybe scaled back or may not happen at all, but we are still having fireworks. So we will still support those fireworks like we have in the past. So from the city's point of view, nothing has changed. Councilor Patterson.
I have no news.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. I pull up my calendar. I stopped by the farmers market not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. And I just wanted to remind people that there is the pop-up farmers market once a month until they start back up in the summer on a weekly basis. I did get a few nice gifts there, so just want to encourage people that there's some interesting, cool vendors there. The one I bought a pair of earrings from a Native American woman who does beading, and they're really pretty. And on Saturday, I chaired the 3-on-3 meeting for the highway budget. Finance Director Ron Uhas and Public Works Director Bill Settlemeyer presented the budget for that. We had 3 town councilors come, and I want to thank them. In particular, Councilor Rusk had some really good questions, and it was a good, productive working meeting. So, and the mayor came and supported the Public Works Director in that, and I think we did what we needed to do, which was get a bunch of stuff clarified so that when it goes to the town council, it's a little bit faster and smoother meeting for them, because I know that their budget is much bigger than ours. So so that was a really good meeting. I wanted to remind everyone, I've gotten a few inquiries about safety related things. I've been encouraging people to go to the PACT meeting. There is one this Thursday. It is here is it 6 p.m.? I think it's at 6. So I just want to encourage people, if they have questions about the resolution we're passing tonight for parking or anything safety related, feel free to go to the PACT meeting, or they can send an email to the mayor's office or myself, and we'll get your questions to the police department or police chief. The police department is open to discussing any kind of police related matters with people. They're really good about it. So feel free to reach out. What was the last thing I was going to say? The food box, the mobile food pantry, is next Friday, the 28th, at St. John's Christian Church again. So if anyone is interested in getting food, you can show up there. Hopefully the weather will be perfect. It's been nice during the day. So, and if you need food delivered, if you are unable to get there, please contact us and we will get food delivered to you if you live in the city. The last thing I want to mention is April is the month where we will have our next quarterly group meetings, correct? So the other option for people, if you're have questions about public safety in particular, that's my committee. We have our group meeting next month. So feel free to email and we can put any questions or suggestions on the agenda for that meeting. But that will be the second Monday, right, in April?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, so the second Monday in April. And keep an eye out for the agenda. Will come out usually the week before. That's all.
Okay, thank you. So this afternoon, Town Manager John Burt, and I met with Mark Reha, the EB President, Dave Roberts, Vice President of Real Estate and Facilities, Myra Lee, Director of Communication and Public Affairs, and Ross Gianfrido, the Government Liaison Staff Specialist. And we talked about issues that impact the city of Groton and Electric Boat. We talked about Electric Boat, community involvement from Electric Boat. Electric Boat is interested in being more involved. They are involved somewhat, but they're going to get more involved in different things with the city. They're going to reach out to Sierra Patrick so that they understand different events that are going on. They're going to be involved in Earth Day and other events. They're looking to adopt a portion of a road for cleaning or for maintaining that roadway and things like that. We also talked about parking in and about the city of Groton. I did talk to them about the resolution that I'm bringing to council tonight, and they understand the impacts. They're also looking at what they can do on parking. They're looking at satellite parking, getting additional parking lots, and even not hour changes, but percentage of staff on given shifts to try to look at that. We also talked about pedestrian safety efforts. And one of the things that I am working with Electric Boat to do, and have went through staff here, is the Eastern Point Road portion in front of Electric Boat from the south end of the parking garage to Chester Street, which is the street that comes out directly into the fire department. I am looking at making that a pedestrian mall. and therefore, there will be no traffic going through there, because when everybody gets out at 2:30, there's no way to get through anyway, and we've had some issues with pedestrians almost getting hit from people speeding through those areas. So we're gonna take this approach for a 3-month trial period. I'm waiting on Electric Boat to give me to provide me with some additional details, and then we'll let you know more about that. That will probably start around 1 May. And then it was support for EB. So EB is in desperate need of housing for their employees. So I don't know if you know, we just recently had a zoning change that came through planning and zoning and was approved. There was an appeal filed by a resident, and as a result, that is now tied up in court until such time that it is resolved. The impact of that is we cannot do any of the things in that planning and zoning doc until the appeal is cleared. So that's the one thing. But they said they need housing for their new hires, and they need it in the region, they need it here in the city of Groton, and they need it in the town. And then they talked about energy reliability and resiliency. Right now, they have we have one dedicated line coming in. We are going to look at, 1, reinforcing that line, but 2, bringing a secondary line in for power to increase the resiliency and electric power at Electric Boat. Electric Boat currently draws about 10 to 15 megawatts per year. That's going to go to 20 to 25 in the next few years with the increased production of submarines. And so we are getting prepared for that. So that was the meeting that I had this afternoon. Okay. Who was that? Oh, yes, please.
In reference to Cheshire being a pedestrian mall, how
Nope.
would that,
Not Chester,
I'm sorry?
not Chester, Eastern Point Road.
Oh, Eastern Point Road. Okay, so how would that affect?
So basically, when Chester, Rainville goes into Chester and that
Yep.
comes in, right?
Yep.
So you will not be able to make a right-hand turn
Onto,
onto Eastern Point Road,
okay,
because there's gonna be a Jersey barrier there, and then there will be a Jersey barrier on the westbound lane just south of the parking garage. And then that will provide safety for all the employees that are exiting at 2:30, 2:30, 3 o'clock, those kind of things. So we're going to address that area first, and then we're gonna start looking at what we can do for calming measures at Five Corners and other places that we have a lot of pedestrian traffic. But one of the challenges we have now is that people are rushing to get to their cars and then rushing to get out of there. And we have had accidents, we've had vehicles hit pedestrians. And so we're trying to address that. Electric Boat is a full partner in this, and they're getting the word out to their employees, and so we're trying to, it all goes back to safety.
yeah, I think my question was, so I use that route actually to go when I start my elementary. It's going up there. I can say that, I've seen like people are on the heels of the people crossing the street, even though it's a crosswalk, but it's like something that's really an issue for me when I watch people do that. But anyway, so I was just wondering if that would be communicated to Groton SCA busing. I don't know what other buses do coming through there, but just, for their routes of rerouting.
Sure.
Because I know some buses use that also going down to get to Riverfront and pickups along Thames also. And I'm not sure
Okay.
how many come up. I think 1 or 2. 2 or 3, I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, moving on to committee referrals. Are there any committee referrals? Hearing none, we'll move to new business. Councilor Piazza.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-25-03-21. Therefore be resolved that the mayor and council designate a resident-only parking permit area. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed at a committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Deputy Mayor Depot.
I just want to reiterate that this is our first list, and it may change with making these all resident parking only, may change where EV parkers park. So if people have different problems, additional problems, still have a problem, please feel free to contact the police department and let them know, or contact any of us and let us know. We can pass it on to the police department. And also, there are 2 streets in here that are misspelled. It's just a typo. High Street has a T at the end. And then Allen Street on the second part where it says same street from intersection of Smith Street to intersection of Allen Street. Allen Street
Missing an L.
needs 2 Ls.
I see that. I also want to clear up a misconception that might be out there. Some of these streets were on a resident parking only list before. So this is basically combining the new list, which impacts those streets around Electric Boat, and the old list that didn't have anything to do with Electric Boat as far as I can tell anecdotally. So I don't want people to say this list is only put out there because of Electric Boat, because there was some misinformation that was put out about Meach and Shore Ave and things like that. There are different reasons why those roads are on here. So I just wanted to clear that up. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Deputy Mayor Depot.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-25-3-22. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council approve increases to retirees' pensions up to and including those who retired in 2021, as recommended by the City of Groton Retirement Board. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Councilor Sheffield.
Resolution R-25-03-23. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council accept a donation of $60,000 and no cents from Connecticut Sun Foundation, $15,000, and Mohegan Basketball Club, LLC, $45,000. 1 Mohegan Sun Boulevard, Uncasville, Connecticut, to be used for future maintenance of the basketball courts at Washington Park. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This is discussed at the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. And lastly, Councilor Patterson.
Resolution 25-03-24, resolution that the mayor and the council authorize and approve a donation of $1,000 in.
All right, Councilor Patterson, please, all you have to read is therefore be it resolved.
Therefore, be resolved, the mayor and council accept a donation of $60,000
All right.
in no cents.
Hold on. All right, the one you're looking for is R-25-03-24. That's the last resolution that we have. All right, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Therefore, be it resolved, the mayor and council authorize and approve a donation of $1,000 and no cents of Children First Groton CO Child and Family Agency P.O. Box 120, New London, Connecticut. I so move.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. This was discussed during the committee of the whole. Is there any additional discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, council, for coming out. Thank you, Danny.
Good night, Tony.
Good night.
Recording stopped.